We're live.
Are we?
Yes.
Happy Doodly Day. Well, we'll just hang out here till we have maybe some people
Yeah.
hanging out.
Yeah. I'm just checking on the phone.
Welcome to live chat.
Well, it says waiting for, so maybe we're not live. Oh, no. Yes, we are live.
We are live.
Yes, I have the volume down so we don't get feedback.
Isn't that magical?
It is.
I don't know.
So, welcome to our live stream.
Everyone.
Yes, everyone. Every no one.
So,
I'm sure. We sent out a lot of notifications and we got a lot of responses and stuff like that. So hopefully, people will show up. If people don't, we're still gonna.
I'm gonna sit back, relax, and
okay.
Wait for some people to.
All right, fine.
Hop in.
Yeah. If you do happen to come in, if there's some kind of lag or something like that, there's a live chat, and you can go into the live chat and say hello. Tell us who you are.
Oh, who's here? Shannon's here.
Shannon's here. Hi,
Hello,
Shannon. Hello, Shannon. If you go into the live chat, if you have any questions, you can post your questions. We're just kind of getting going here and waiting for people to come on in.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us.
Does it sound all right, Shannon? Whoop.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh
good.
my gosh.
Oh,
the miracles of technology.
Aren't we amazing with our
whizzing
knowledge?
Around the world?
There's nothing like whizzing around the world.
That's right. So we have a few topics that we kind of brainstormed that we thought maybe we would kind of address that people might be interested in.
Sure.
So we could
hello,
Caitlin's
Caitlin.
here. Hi, Caitlin. Thank you for joining us.
Indeed.
There's the live chat, which you have found. So if you have any questions, throw them out there. Otherwise, we've prepared some topics, and we're just going to kind of start talking about things. Which one do you want to start with?
Oh, geez.
Start with something positive.
I think it's all positive.
It is all kind of positive. Yeah.
But
there's some honesty there too.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Well, what would you like to start with?
Let's see. Let's start with the first thing we had: cultural experiences.
Cultural experiences,
which you haven't really addressed too much in your prior videos, so that would make sense.
Excuse me. Yes. Well, there are a lot of things to do in Cuenca. Surprisingly, a lot, and a lot of it is free. There's, for instance, two nights ago, we went. It wasn't free, but it was very inexpensive. We went to see a wacky little show called Chupacabra's Family, which was really inspiring. It just was nice to see a group of people trying something different.
It was a pastiche of Rocky Horror. So, and it was filtered through a drag personality named Chichi Rodriguez, who passed, I guess, a couple of years ago during COVID. So the person who did the show, I kind of directed it, and was kind of the net. Well, okay, I guess I'm not talking because you know these things already, right? See, he's the professional.
Oh yes, I'm very professional.
It was in Spanish, the kind of like the narrator from Rocky Horror, except it was narrating the story of Chi-Chi, this drag queen. And then she had written a play kind of surrounding some of the themes of Rocky Horror, I would say. And then the play used the music from Rocky Horror. So the narrator was in English. The music was, the narrator was in Spanish.
Yes.
music was in English, and then a lot of the performance was pantomimed.
Yeah.
So I was surprised.
And their mime, their physicality and mime work was just great.
Yeah,
it was lovely.
Absolutely.
Yes, it was a loving story of love, family, and murder and death. So it was
like Rocky Horror.
Yes.
So and then like a few weeks ago, the Cuenca has a symphony, and they perform and don't charge. So we went and Kirk saw the symphony. I wasn't able to stay, but you enjoyed that very much.
Indeed.
There is a local theater group that does performances
in English.
So more like a typical community theater. So we've seen that. So yeah, there's a lot of very inexpensive and completely free things going on.
And you can't throw a rock without hitting a gallery. So
absolutely. There are all kinds of artists,
including 52 Catholic churches around the city, which are all quite beautiful, and many of them have museums as part of their church.
Yeah. I mean, we have 3 museums within probably
5 minutes.
5 minutes of us.
Well,
there's
across the street. There's half a block and a half up.
And then there's the one down the street.
Yeah.
The main museum from the city is probably a 2-minute, 3-minute walk. So.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, lots going on. Who's here? Oh, tell us more about the monthly festivals. I love the boxcar races. Oh my gosh, yes. So,
well, I don't know that that's going to happen again this year. I think that's
races.
Yeah, I think the boxcar race is one
annual.
And what you couldn't see from the pictures I posted, the church that is at the top of the hill, Todos Santos, which is right across the street. What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Poking me in the ribs. But in the turret, the spire of the church, there's a window that you can open, and there were a couple nuns up there watching the boxcar races, which was great because these little old nuns hanging out the window. But yeah, it was weird. We weren't quite sure what all was happening. There was lots of things happening. There seemed to be various parts to the boxcar race. One seemed to actually go in a route which was pretty extensive. Then there were just going down the hill and trying not to crash into things and people. And then they put the ramps up.
So these are all homemade cars. Yeah. It just should be stressed.
Yes.
And it's kind of like a soapbox derby, except with life-size cars and real people.
No, I don't know, life-size, but they were like little.
Well, they were big enough to hold people.
Yeah, they were like little sit-down bikes with cardboard cutouts surrounding them, which flew to pieces when they hit the ramps.
But the monthly festivals,
I
mean, and even sometimes more frequently the monthly, some of them are organized around religious significance.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are organized more around the indigenous peoples.
There's that
holidays and things like that.
Which one could also say is religious, like the harvest, the like harvest festivals, the planting festivals, and then there's all the founding of Cuenca. Whoops.
Muzzy. Muzzy's joining us.
Oh, where's Muzzy?
Behind you.
Oops. Hey, Muzzy.
No, she's gone.
We just recently had the 476th anniversary of the founding of Cuenca, which was another festival. In November, there's the whole Ecuador Independence Festival, which we were here for in 22 when we came on our exploratory trip, which was great. That's quite extensive.
The festivals generally involve a lot of parades, and a lot of Cuencans are in the parades because there's a lot. They're quite long. They can be hours long, literally.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be like young people and their dance troupes, different bands, different organizations will march, and everybody loves, like, there's huge turnouts for the parades.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think
cool.
that's what's really magical about what goes on here, because in the United States, it's like hit or miss. People participate or enjoy. Here, it seems like people actually love everything cultural that's going on.
Yeah, and just because there was a parade last month doesn't mean
you're not going to go out and watch the next one.
Yeah, you still go out and watch the next parade.
Yeah.
Also, there are a lot of ferias. So,
yes.
Like kind of vendors that either have food items or materials that they've made, indigenous people coming in with different things. And so the festivals will have that. It's really cool that everybody kind of creates their own fun. I like that part of it. The ferias are very cool with that. We've along with ferias, there are weekly. Here's what I was wondering what you were going to do. Okay, here's some examples of things that you can get at ferias.
Here's and actually, she's not. She was supposed to be at a feria this weekend, which was canceled. But this is this woman makes these amazing soy candles. And just the scent just drives me insane. And even Jamie likes it and lets me burn candles. Which is way against me. There's the expat from Texas who does candied jalapenos and other items and
nacho cheese and all the things that
we forgot to get this week at the feria.
She was there.
I think she's always there. Anyway. Farm fresh yogurt, which is now going
different
back in the
flavors
fridge
and stuff.
So
the other things we like at the ferias are there's a smokehouse that comes in with different smoked meats that they, it's all from their farm. We do. There's a kombucha lady, so we get our kombucha from the kombucha lady. Very cool.
Where are you, kombucha lady?
I don't know.
I haven't seen her for.
And then again, if you joined us and you're in there, if you have questions from the live stream, Shannon was asking, "What's your favorite food there?" That's we can segue. That was kind of one of our topics. New foods that we have experienced.
It's not necessarily new food. What are the uvias? Uvias, which are, I mean, you can get them in the United States. They're the ground cherries, the little orange gooseberries.
They're, if you go to Publix or Giant or whatever.
And you pay $10 for a little jar here. They grow in the backyard, so everyone's bringing uvias out here.
So we like our. I think we had them in the United States, but rarely, because you pay $5 for a
Indeed.
pint. And here, we always have a bowl.
Here you eat them like candy.
You eat them like candy, and they're supposed to be very good for your respiration, which is great. Which is great because we are at altitude here, 8,000 plus feet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the nice thing, I don't know that we're eating anything. I mean, certainly one can eat bizarre things down here.
Oh, absolutely.
Or at least I shouldn't use the word bizarre, but down the street about 4 blocks, there's one of the best cuy restaurants in the country, maybe. Called Tres Estrellas. Cuy, if you don't know, is guinea pig. Here, it's not a pet; it's a food.
We have not had cuy yet. It's on the list. We'll see. We'll see if we brave that.
But I mean, the thing is that the food, what we do is we buy a couple days out or the day of. There's a mercado down the street, 10 minutes.
Which is like a farmer's market.
Indeed, except it's every day. And we just go in there, and there are scores of vendors with their vegetables and meats and things. So we just buy what we want for the next couple of days, and everything is very fresh. And because it is constitutionally dictated, there are no GMOs. Not everything is organic, but things just taste better.
Yeah.
And we find that we've both been a lot healthier since we've been here.
Absolutely. I do want to throw out there too. There are, I think, some people watching, but they're not in the live chat. So if you go into the live chat on your computer or your phone, you'll be able to ask us questions, and we can answer your questions and things like that. And then we'll also know you're there. So if you're not in the live chat, go into the live chat and say hello to us. So
because we'd love to say hello to you.
We'd love to say hello to you, so we know who you are. Yeah.
The other food, do you want to talk about almuerzos?
Oh, yeah. So the almuerzos are inexpensive lunches, and they range from $2.50 to $3.25 generally.
There's that one down there. It's $1.75.
We haven't tried the $1.75 one yet, but they are a first course, which is some kind of soup, and a second course, which is a meat of some kind, usually either chicken, pork, beef. Yeah, something like that, prepared differently. Some kind of starch that can be rice, it can be plantains.
Usually fried, rice and plantains.
Rice, sometimes two starches, and a vegetable, and a drink. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get a little dessert at the end. Kind of just depends.
Those are the higher end.
Yeah,
those are the
those are the three.
Yes,
exactly. We stick to the $2.50. We don't get dessert. But
excuse me.
And then a food that we've come to love is the ahi. So on the table you get a little bowl of some kind of like hot. It's not ever too hot, but it's flavorful, spicy. Like kind of,
I mean, it's
something you drizzle over your food.
When you think of misconceptions. When we were in the U.S. and we thought about South America, we assumed that all food was hot, picante, and it isn't. Actually, Ecuadorian food does not go to that spicy, hot level.
They do use chilies to cook with.
Yeah,
like the ahi has chilies, but it's not like overwhelmingly like hot and spicy. That's not the point of it. Isn't to be hot. The point of it is to add flavor.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you have any other questions, throw them out, and we can talk about food some more if you want, if that interests you, or we can move on to something different. Do
you think there's anything else food-wise that was
well, we did have I had a kind of a delayed birthday.
See.
When I first got here, I had if you don't know, like a little strain on my your psoas, which kind of is the muscle here that keeps you upright. So I think it was kind of a leftover from moving. So I don't think I did it here. I think I just stressed myself out a lot just before we moved with the move and the packing and the selling of all the possessions. And
basically we got down here and his body relaxed
and then
said
So at any rate, where was I going with that?
Your dinner.
Oh, right. So I was having trouble sitting up for long periods of time. So I had a birthday dinner finally, and we had it just at a little restaurant down the street called La Esquina, which was absolutely amazing. And it wasn't Ecuadorian food.
No.
It was Argentinian, and it was amazing. So there is kind of both ends. Cuenca has kind of risen in the last couple of years, 3 years, gastronomically. So there is, in addition to traditional Ecuadorian food, which can be on the high end and the low end, there's also any kind of cuisine you want. I mean, we ride the bus around town and we see all kinds. There's a Korean barbecue, There's
lots of Chinese.
There's lots of Chinese. There's ramen places. There's a really good Austrian restaurant that has the pub. There's Czechoslovakian. There's like you name it. There's
shockingly,
Thai.
it's like any city in the world.
City, exactly. So if we kind of stick when we go out to the Ecuadorian food, just because we like it. It's something new to us, and it's certainly it can be inexpensive and very, very good. We were just commenting the other day that it's kind of like when we were in Paris, you can't go anywhere and get a bad meal.
Yeah.
Like everything's really good.
I think you have to try really hard to get a bad meal in this city.
Yeah. Although we have not had the $1.75 almuerzo.
We have not. The other nice thing about the mercados is that usually on the upper level, there's a whole ton of various vendors that do anything from smoothies to just regular juice drinks to pig roasts. And that's all phenomenally inexpensive and delicious.
And I will throw out there for Caitlin's benefit.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Caitlin.
That there's a ton of vegetarian restaurants.
There are
a lot of vegetarian and vegan restaurants.
Yes.
So and there are a lot of the almuerzos that are vegan and vegetarian. There's there's again, like any city, there's a lot of options. I mean, when we were in Pennsylvania, we kind of don't really cook a lot of meat around the house.
Yeah.
Most of the meals that we have in the house are vegetarian. And then, kind of when we go out, we don't worry about it as much.
Indeed.
But, it's like last night's meal was bean soup. But the beans were from the Mercado, and they were all fresh beans. So it wasn't dried beans reconstituted.
No.
It was, little indigenous ladies showing all different types of beans. Then you get a huge bag of beans that are fresh for like $1. And you go home and you make your bean soup, and it costs you $1, and it was great.
Actually, maybe that's a good segue into the whole shopping thing.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's a term that's used around here by the expats called which is gringoed, meaning that the locals will charge you a higher price than they will the locals. Now, it's usually in a sort of Anglo privileged way used, but the fact is that if the Cuencanos see somebody from Quito,
right,
who is also Hispanic, it is the same thing. It's basically...
And everybody can tell because of the accents.
Indeed.
Like, they know they're not Cuencanos.
So it's not necessarily something that has to do with me being the white boy in the market, but being the new person in the market. And they feel that out. We have a vegetable seller who we like a lot, and we go to her regularly, and she's gone to the opposite end of gringoing is yapaing, YAPA, which is just giving you an extra thing for what you pay. And she's now started. She knows us, she trusts us, and she'll throw in an extra.
Hola, mi patron.
Indeed. Yeah. She'll throw in an extra pepper or.
Yeah.
So,
last time we got free cucumbers.
Yes, we did.
So yeah, which is nice. So it kind of cuts both ways. The other thing, I mean, I kind of feel like at the low end of things, price wise, I don't think there's harm in not negotiating.
No.
Like if I go to the Mercado, I'm not going to argue about the price of the peppers because everything's and that's just our take on it.
And if this is all homegrown stuff, So if you're out in the fields there picking your peppers and I'm not going to argue over $1 or 50 cents.
Or whether you get like
yeah,
6 peppers or 8 peppers for the $1, that kind of thing. Because the other thing is, I mean, there's only 2 of us. So a lot of times we'll go and just kind of say, can we get a 50?
Yeah, like the
50 cents. We're going to get a half of $1 worth.
Yeah, the other day I wanted some red bananas, which are really good, and it's like, can I just have 50 cents worth?
Yeah, that's $1 is like half the tree.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, we go and get probably $7 or $8 maybe, and that's our produce for the week.
Yeah.
And that's an immense amount of produce. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did want to mention is the other end of the gringoing thing, like getting gringoed on prices, is on higher end items. And the big one is, I think, rent. It's important to be diligent so that you're not driving the prices up for people who live in the city and have to survive on, we have a privilege, and it's we have more means to pay things, but we shouldn't drive the prices up. Some people come and there are many ways to get an apartment. We chose not to use a real estate agent, and we went directly with the dueña, the owner, and negotiated the price, and we paid much less than if you had gone through a real estate agent. And that way, on the other end, we're not driving the prices in the market up for
sort of our
native Quincanos and the.
I think I've mentioned this in other videos in this clump, but part of our philosophy in moving down here was not to bring the U.S. with us, and to be part of the community here and to work within that structure rather than, again, trying to make this the U.S. It would be easy to go to a real estate agent and say, hey, I want X, Y, and Z. I'll pay whatever.
Yeah.
That's, again, doing harm to native Ecuadorians who don't have the
means to pay whatever.
The minimum monthly wage here is $460
a month. And that's for everything. That would be for everything. And a lot of Quincanos and Ecuadorians make less than that because they work part-time. So.
Right.
We've had other people come into the chat. Hello and welcome. If you aren't in the live chat, come on into the live chat. Say hello to us. Ask a question. We don't necessarily know who you are unless you come into the live chat and say, hey, it's me. So feel free to do that, or, lurking is fine as well. But if you have any additional questions or any first questions, just come on in and ask them. Anyway, so
let's pause in our yammering and see if there are any questions out there that we haven't yet covered.
Yeah. We have a list of things to talk about, but we would be happier addressing your questions, because then we kind of know that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, feel free to chime in here anytime.
Yeah. Throw something out.
And please remember to like, share, and give us a thumbs up.
Oh my God. So professional.
We're so not taking this seriously. Where do you buy furniture, clothes? That's it. That's an excellent question.
That is a good question.
First, one of the nice things about Ecuador is that a lot of the apartments you rent are furnished.
They can be.
Yes. Yeah. I said a lot.
Indeed.
And we made the choice of certainly if you rent an unfurnished, it's a lot cheaper. I mean, that a lot being on a relative scale. But we chose to go with a furnished because we wanted to have a little more flexibility in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that said, we of course bought a couch.
A couch.
Yeah. and a bed frame because
and it came with the couch. We liked the couch, but we wanted an extra couch. At some point we'll have visitors. We do have a second bedroom with a bed, but some of the visitors, I think we're going to have like a lot of people coming in groups. So we wanted to have some flexibility.
The couch does.
So we did
pull
supplement. So in this case, we went to a local furniture store, not a chain, and they had used and new furniture. We chose to get this new, and the bed new as well, just the frame. We had a mattress and a kind of like a regular, just like a metal frame, but nothing. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, actually, there wasn't. It was sitting on top of
it was sitting on top
of the box
with the platform.
Right.
So,
yeah. All right.
Anyway.
So
there are, like, I guess any country or any city, there are used furniture places, there are hybrid places, and then there are very high-end furniture chains.
And as you can tell, we're not high-end.
We're not high-end, yeah. But there's one called Colonial, which is extremely high-end, like high-end.
Very pretty stuff.
Very pretty stuff, but very, very, like expensive for the Estados Unidos expensive. And then,
well, here's
clothes are the same thing. Clothes.
I needed some new shirts because didn't bring enough actually button-down, covery-uppy shirts. So there was a place near the Mercado, which had, and it's all used clothes.
But in good shape.
I mean,
it was all like, a lot of it was like Amazon essentials and stuff like that. So
I mean, yes, one thing which is odd is Cuencanos tend to be shorter and thinner. So it's hard.
But
I mean, I've lost about 30 pounds since I've been here, which is great.
Healthy food and a lot of walking.
Indeed. But when I got here, none of the shirts in regular stores fit me. And so when I found this used clothing store, it was great. But now everything fits me.
Yeah. But on the other end, and again, like that was a nice store that had like nicely worn. There are a lot of consignment shops that like departing gringos will put their stuff into. But then on the other end, there are several malls in the city and high-end malls with high-end clothing. So, or like on the main square in downtown, we're living in the historic district. The main square in the historic district is Parque Calderon. And on Parque Calderon, there's a large building that has a lot of high-end clothing. So again, it's kind of like there's a range.
Yeah.
Food is the same way. We tend to go to the Mercado for like the fresh food, the vegetables, the fruits, the things like that.
Pantry items we go to.
Where there's a range. So just like when we were in Reading, kind of there's the Redner's level, and then there's the Giant level, and then if you drive to Lancaster, there's the Wegmans level.
Exactly.
So in the same way, there's the Tia, which is kind of a low-end grocery chain. We get a lot of stuff there, and then in the middle is kind of Corral, which is kind of like the Giant level.
The Corral's great because you can buy anything there.
You can buy it. It's like a multi-story Walmart supercenter or Target superstore. Yeah,
it's like
everything.
hardware, home goods.
Yeah, just like everything. And then on the high end, there's the maxi chain. So there's there's super maxi, which is kind of like grocery focused, and then there's mega maxi, which has the groceries and then adds in the kind of stuff that you would get at Corral, like home goods and clothing and things like that. So yeah, you can take your pick of where
Indeed.
kind of which level you want to slot into.
But even at the higher level, it depends what you buy. Again, it's like in the US, we tend to not really care about brand. So if there's a can of peas that's $5 and it's a name brand, and there's a can of peas that's $1.50 that isn't name brand, we'll go for the $1.50.
And we did that always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can go into any of these stores and pay $8 for a jar of Jif, which seems to be the thing most Americans most Americans miss, or United States' staters miss is
not Americans.
Yes, we're all Americans.
Yes, that's the thing. We should explain that.
Okay. Go ahead.
We are in America because North America, South America. So when you're in South America, you don't really say I'm an American, because they're Americans too. So you're a Estado Unidense, which is United Statesian or whatever. Okay, go ahead.
I forget where I was now.
Okay.
Anyway, Jif. Yes, the Estado Unidenseans seem to have a hankering for Jif, and I don't understand it. I mean, nothing against Jif, but I can go to the Mercado and buy freshly ground mantequilla de maní, which is peanut butter, for $1.50 for a nice tub.
Or you can go to Super Maxi or Mega Maxi and you can pay $8 for a jar of Jif.
Indeed.
I mean, things imported into Ecuador are taxed at a higher rate than things produced domestically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you buy a car, if it's a Chevrolet, it's going to cost more.
Right.
That kind of thing. So, yeah.
Anyway, we don't want a car.
We don't want a car. We're never going to get a car.
But on our way to an event that we go to on a weekly basis with some friends, there is this electric car shop that has the cutest tiny little. It's even, I think it's like smaller than a Smart.
I think you're probably right.
And they're just adorable, but we will still never have a car.
Because our apartment is on the second floor, and we'd have to throw an extension cord out the window.
That's true. That would be
probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
So Shannon has a question
yes.
for you, Kirk. And while he's reading, if you're in the viewing us and haven't gone into the live chat, go into the live chat, say hello to us, and throw out a question. Go
Indeed.
ahead.
Yes, I brought some sentimental items. The
question, if you're not in the live chat,
go ahead.
If you Shannon wanted to know if Kirk brought sentimental items and how he decided what to bring with him.
We made the decision that we were coming down here minimally, and that in our case meant 2 17-gallon.
The smaller of the 2 available Home Depot storage
tubs, and 2 of those each, and a backpack each, and a cat each, and the rest was going away. Caveat to that, there is a large suitcase in Pennsylvania still that I will be going back to get at the end of this month, because I have to get my driver's license renewed.
Which is a whole nother story.
But anyway, so there was a lot of decision making. I had a ton of family pictures going back to the turn of this previous century. Some of that was digitized professionally. Some of that was digitized by me taking picture, or Jamie taking pictures of the pictures. So really it came down to what fit. It had to come down to what would fit in 2 tubs that weighed no more than 50 pounds. So there was.
So which sentimental items did you bring?
Oh, well, I brought but it's, there's some kitchen items I brought because food has always been, being a Pennsylvania Dutch boy and you a Southern boy, food has always been a part of our life. So,
yeah. My cast iron skillet from my great grandmother is coming with the next trip.
Yes. I like, there's some little ornamental tiny chairs that we were given as a wedding present. They came along with us. A really cool kind of puzzle building that this gentleman in Venice does. He makes these things. We brought that down. My books that the various Ukrainian poets and American poets have signed for me, those came down. So it really is that connection to heart and weight.
I was just gonna say, it's like a lot of it did come down because we had, when you're flying down, there's a weight limit. So we had a 53-pound weight limit for each of the containers and the checked bags.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a consideration, definitely. I brought the one thing that kind of weighed a lot and that was sentimental, and I brought was Kirk made me when we.
Oh, it's not that heavy.
It's
heavy.
It's heavy. He made a little tower out of hot type, like back in the days, in the printing press days, when you had.
Okay, it's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. When you had hot lead type, he made this little tower for me. It probably weighs. It's small, 7 or 8 pounds, maybe. I mean, it's all lead. It's all lead type. Yeah. But it spells out various things, like I love you and I miss you and blah, 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 all these kinds of things. Indeed. So I brought that. I brought some stuffed animals because I'm kind of stuffed animal-y.
The monkeys, the Curious Georges, the George on the bus and George at home came from my touring days, came down with us. So
but what we found was, as we went through the process of figuring out what we were bringing and what we were not bringing, it was, you could just take pictures of a lot of things, and that was kind of enough. Like if I have a picture of a lot of that stuff, for me, over the arc, I think there was a point at which you were like, I can't do this, I can't do this. And then it was like, okay, it's going.
Until then you would open another box and you would see something.
Well, you had a lot more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then you'd start at the bottom of that hill again and push your way up to the top. But it was really a good exercise in getting rid of things and realizing what was important in your heart and soul and what could live without the physicality of the item.
I can never remember the word, but there's this concept in Norway. It's like the Norwegian death purge.
I think it's Ferndifitibu.
Yeah. Like the Swedish stuff.
Yes,
except in Norway.
Exactly.
So, like, you spend the first half of your life, 50 years or so, accumulating, and then you spend the second half of your life getting rid of. So our getting rid of was just very accelerated. And I think we've gotten a couple of pieces of furniture, but I think that's going to be it. We want to stay light as much as possible. And certainly we don't have any plans to leave yet, and we love Ecuador, and we haven't seen any of Ecuador except Cuenca and then what we saw a year and a half ago on our exploratory trip. So we want to do a lot of exploration in Ecuador, but we also want to be free to move somewhere else in Ecuador if we like to try. There's a great city, Loja, that we want to visit and see if we might like it for living. And then certainly once we get to the place where we have our permanent visas and have been here a couple years, the visa only requires at that point that you're in Ecuador 1 day every 2 years. So we want to be free to pick up roots.
No, that's
if we want to.
Indeed, and that's a ways off because we just got our temporary residency, which so we have
temporary we'll have for 2 years.
2 years, and
then you get your permanent, and then the permanent, once you've had it for a couple of years, then the whole the 1 day every 2 years things kicks in.
Yes.
So that's down the road, and that's and we may never leave Cuenca because we love it here.
Indeed,
but yeah.
It was not our intent. Our intent was to arrive here. We had our temporary place booked for 2 months, which was lovely. The Apartamentos Otorango by the Tome Bamba, which is a lovely place run by lovely people.
Yeah. And if you're coming to Cuenca, it's a great place to stay if you're not staying with us.
Indeed. And
how is medical care? That's good. A good question.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But after a month, we saw this place, and it was.
And we kind of jumped on it. We had seen a couple of places.
Yeah.
But the thing we liked about this place, well, we should give them the quick tour.
Okay.
So I'll talk while Kirk kind of takes the laptop around.
Can I turn this camera around? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you just look over your shoulder.
Indeed, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we won't. All right. So here we go.
We kind of saw this place and just decided you're showing everybody the ceiling. It's a lovely ceiling, but
all right. So here we go to the window,
and because it was inexpensive,
that's out our front window. That's Todos Santos, the church across the way. All right. Oh, I'm supposed to let you talk.
That's fine. I'm just, because we're New Yorkers and everybody asks the question, and when you're a New Yorker, it's a topic of conversation and nobody cares. We will just say it. How much we pay?
$400 a month.
$400 a month, which includes all of our utilities.
That's the cat scratcher we had made by Jesus, the cat scratcher maker guy.
Yeah. And then here is the bedroom, the main bedroom, bedroom number 1, with 2 cats. Hello, Gooch. Hello, Muzzy. Can you hear?
I know. I'm trying to do this.
Yeah, there you go. There's the cats. Hello, kitty cats.
Let's see.
And then we have a walk-in closet where,
which is now my studio.
Kirk's studio in the back where he does his poetry and podcasting and all that kind of thing. We do have a second bedroom if you want to come and be a guest. We have a second bedroom. We have an actual bedroom, and then we also have 2 sofa bed couches. Did they see the other end of the? Yeah. So there's 2 couches and living room and whatnot.
Indeed.
What you see in front of you is the stairway up to the apartment. So we have the only apartment in the building. Downstairs are 2 commercial spaces. One is a sushi restaurant, which does most of their business with delivery, so they're really quiet. And the other one just opened is a little shop that does like painting on pottery for kids and coffee and stuff like that, which is very fun. So anyway, so that's the stairway up. And then the spiral staircase goes up to the 3rd floor, which is just a little small landing area, which has the washer and dryer.
Indeed. Basically, it's the roof.
Yeah. But if you see up there, that's the skylight. So the middle of the apartment has this amazing glass roof that lets in like lots and lots
Lots
of
of
light.
light. It
Lots
is
of
never
light.
dark in here.
And then we have a kitchen. And then
Sorry for making you dizzy.
Yeah. And then in there we have a bathroom. So yeah, friends welcome.
Indeed. The only real concession we made in this apartment was that we had wanted 2 bathrooms, or at least a bathroom and a full bath and a half bath. But you know what? It was too good to.
Yeah. So
have you all survived the tour?
That's all. So we should address
Caitlin's
question with the
Yes.
healthcare. Go ahead.
Healthcare is very affordable. There is a public system, IESS, which you can sign up for when you get here. You don't have to be a resident.
No.
You can
In fact, if you're a tourist and get sick or have an emergency, they just kind of put you. I understand it. For like emergency care, you just go in and.
But for us, because we have some pre-existing conditions and because our Spanish is not great, the thing with IESS is you can't guarantee that you're going to have an English-speaking doctor, and you can hire a translator to go with you. But we both kind of wanted to make sure that our doctors understood 100% what we were saying.
Yeah.
So, and we understood what they were saying. So we went with a private insurance, which.
Yeah, it's about $100 a month for both of us, and that's full coverage. There's a waiting period for pre-existing conditions on private insurance, so you have you do have coverage, but it's limited coverage for 2 years. If you have a lot of pre-existing conditions and you don't want to have the waiting period, you can go with the public insurance, and there's only a 3-month waiting period for coverage. But like Kirk said, we chose to go into the private insurance area because we kind of just wanted a little bit more flexibility and to be able to find some English-speaking doctors. That said, the public, a lot of expats, gringos, will go into the IESS system and are fine. So,
just as an example, my doctor I saw the other day is $40 for the visit.
Right. Now we'll submit that to our insurance and we'll get back everything but $8.
Indeed.
But a lot of people here just don't even get the insurance.
Yeah.
If you have the means to just pay cash for things, I ended up getting a prescription for physical therapy for my my muscle pull thing. I went to my first therapy session, and I had 10 sessions approved, and my copay for the entire 10 sessions was $20. And then at the end, if I had wanted to just pay cash and get more sessions, it was $20 for a physical therapy session.
Indeed.
Yeah. We supplement a lot of our insurance with some private practitioners that we like a massage. There's a masseuse that we go to. We've started
InBody by Laura.
Hi, InBody by Laura.
She's wonderful. She's amazing. And
yeah.
Dr. Drew, the
acupuncturist. Some of that you can submit to insurance, and some of it you can't. But it's all like $20, $25 a session. So.
And another example is my doctor ordered a series of lab tests. I mean, it was a good number of tests, which in the U.S. would have been prohibitively expensive, and here was $150 again, right. which
would have been hundreds and hundreds. He had like a long list of And again, we had option.
I'm not dying.
We had the option of paying cash and getting reimbursed, or going to a lab that, had we would have just paid the copay, and we ended up paying, for reasons, we paid cash and we'll get money back. So
Indeed.
So bottom line, it's a destination for medical tourism
and dental.
So the healthcare, in fact, there was recently the World Healthcare Survey or something like that, and Cuenca was number 8 in the world for healthcare and availability. Yeah. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I'm happy with
our experiences so far have been,
indeed.
Good. Yeah.
The Spanish lessons. How are the Spanish lessons going? They're going well. Jamie is much better about just blabbering and not worrying about being correct.
Can you believe it? I'm better about blabbering.
Whereas I am a little more reserved and want to try to. I mean, if I had to be particularly the way.
Hello, Jennifer 1013. Welcome.
Hello.
Thanks for coming into the live chat.
Indeed.
So,
I mean, I would prefer to have a little more of Jamie in me, just because it is a little. It makes it more difficult being concerned about being right. Because it's the.
I mean, I think I'm right.
Indeed, you are.
I'm not wrong.
You are, and when you start to get lost, I generally know what you're saying, and then I can hop in and say things. Yeah. Oh, that occurred to me. One other thing one very sentimental thing that we brought down. And thank you, Taylor Backus Glassworks in Birdsboro.
Yeah,
not Birdsboro. Anyway, in Pennsylvania, Taylor Backus Glassworks. We had the ashes of 2 of our late cats, and they made me 2 beautiful little glass drops with their ashes in. So those came with me.
Yeah. So with Spanish, our transactional Spanish is pretty good. So going to the mercado, buying things. Mm-hmm. It's very important here to not be in a hurry with the transactions. So, you start out with, buenos dias, buenas noches, buenas tardes. Have a little bit of a conversation.
Politeness is very important here, as it should be everywhere, but
slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. I mean, the New York in us, one of the first times we got in the taxi, you jump in, if you're in the city of New York, you just, you jump in and say 14th and 8th, and off they go. And that's the whole conversation. We kind of did that the first time, and the taxi driver corrected us. It's like,
here it's buenas tardes. Aquí es buenas tardes.
We have been continuing with our Spanish classes.
We're on our second.
6-week.
Yeah.
We like the school we go to is called Vamos, because their whole thing is, come to class, but then also you need to get out. And so, we went to a class a couple of weeks ago that was the fruit class. So all the things in the mercado that you weren't sure what they were, we got to taste and what to do with them and stuff. So that was fun. They take you out and give you tours of, one tour that Kirk went on was all the different murals. There's a lot of really very talented graffiti artists that do murals around town. They did a mural tour. We did on Friday the Ruta Francesa. There's been a lot of architectural influences among the colonial Spanish, of course, but also French. There's a lot of French inspired buildings, and we went on a walk that was kind of like all the different French architectures. That was fun.
Yeah.
So that's
Spanish. Spanish is. I think for both of us, we understand what we're hearing much better than we're able to communicate
Right.
at this point.
Yeah. I understand. I think you do too. I understand
Yeah.
the conversation and get the gist of it most of the time.
Which is somewhat
But then
frustrating.
The answer is
It's
like,
yeah.
I am a baby Spanish.
Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating being able to understand what somebody is saying and then not being able to throw that switch and get it out of your mouth in a lucid manner.
So we're coming up on an hour. We
Yeah.
said we would do an hour.
Yes.
I'm happy to keep going if people have questions. We don't want to make people feel like they have to
Indeed.
sit for their whole entire Sunday afternoon.
Happy Mother's Day,
say,
by the
Happy
way.
Mother's Day. Yeah. Hi to whoever just came in to our live broadcast. Come into the live chat and say hello and tell us who you are if you have any questions.
See, I'm worried that I screwed up the time. Well, I couldn't have screwed up the time that badly because other people were here.
Right.
But
yeah. No,
it was slightly confusing because we are an hour behind the East Coast, which means
we don't go on daylight savings time.
Indeed. So time is odd.
Yeah. And then there's like YouTube settings.
Indeed.
We weren't sure if it was setting it for Ecuadorian time or.
Oh. Not yet.
Not yet. There are many local vets.
Yeah.
There's one that we have in mind that we know speaks English and actually has like a little, like you pay them a lump sum for the care for the year. So that's on the agenda. I mean, yeah. We had the cats to bring them to Ecuador had to be very, very vetted, no pun intended, to get the paperwork that Ecuador requires to bring them into Ecuador. So they have been extensively poked and prodded like 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So we don't feel the need right away to get to the vet, but we do. Yeah. It's on the agenda to get them established. Lots of different options. There's a lot of, actually, as we walk around the historic district in different areas, there's a lot of 24-hour vets. Like on the sign, they'll say, WhatsApp us if you need us in an emergency and stuff like that. So
I think that's another thing we should discuss the whole WhatsApp thing and contacting. Like I can send my doctor a WhatsApp anytime I want. Not that I do. 3 a.m. Hey, I have a cough.
But you can.
But you can.
And they will respond.
Indeed.
And they won't charge you.
And indeed. And
that's a thing. Like if you contact your doctor now through like MyChart and Epic or whatever, they've started to bill you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but like when we got here, we needed some internet help. So there's one thing that's really nice is that there's a good infrastructure of people who have moved here from elsewhere before. So there's a whole structure of, this is the list of people you can call for this. This is
right. And they're all local people. So you're supporting local people and their local economies.
Yeah. So like Leonardo Duran is our
tech guy.
Our tech guy.
Yeah.
And the internet goes out, you like WhatsApp Leonardo. And,
yeah. And he came over and fixed our, we were having problems texting people. So he came over and called the local internet provider and got them to enable our Wi-Fi calling so we could get texts.
Indeed.
So it's great. The other day, Kirk has lost 30 pounds. Yay. So all his pants didn't fit. So we called Leonardo Mocha.
Yes.
And he came to our house.
Not everyone we call is named Leonardo.
Yeah, exactly. But he came to our house. He took the measurements. He took the pants away. He hemmed them. He brought them back. They were perfect. It was $5 a pair.
Indeed. And he's actually recreating a shirt of Jamie's that is his favorite.
My favorite shirt, which I could never find another one of. And he took the shirt and he's making me 2 exact replicas of my favorite shirt. So there you go.
So
who else did we had We had an electrician in.
Yeah, electrician
To-
are now we're. I'm almost. I am embarrassed to say this, but I know us, and cleaning service is is something that is available here, and certainly we don't live in a sty, but honestly, it's an old building, and there's a lot of dust and stuff. So once a month, we will have a cleaning service. Edvi Limpieza Total,
right. Yeah.
Who were just amazing.
I mean, 3 people, top to bottom, for the apartment, and they're here for a couple of hours.
Husband, wife, and son,
and it's $40 a month.
Indeed.
So, and that's actually on the high end of.
It is.
Yeah.
But
there are a couple of different ways that might as well explain.
Go ahead.
You can hire an Ecuadorian directly for less. We chose to go with a service because that way they're paying for their own IESS pension benefits, all their taxes and things like that. If you hire someone directly, you'll pay less and you can pay them directly. And that's certainly an option. But there have been situations, because when you do that, you're then obligated to do the other part of it. So you're obligated to give them
basically their
2
employer.
weeks paid vacation. You're basically their employer. So there have been situations where, like, people tried to leave the country and found out that they have a bill of thousands and thousands of dollars for their cleaning person that they never paid legitimately for. So
yeah, it's we like
we like to be legitimate.
Oh my goodness! Thank you, Shannon, for that boost of confidence.
I know.
I mean, it's just weird because it's like to be honest, to be fair, I often, when we were in Reading, said to Jamie, "Can we just get a house? just maybe once every 6 months?" Because there's things that you don't. There are things that you don't think about cleaning. You don't clean the windows. I mean, well, that's not true. My parents, when I was growing up, used to do top to bottom, and every change of season they would clean the ceilings, and I'm like, oh my god. But
by the way, thank you, Jennifer, for popping in. We appreciate. There's no such thing as late. There's only mañana, which is a concept. If you ask somebody when they're coming to your house and they say mañana, that can be any time between tomorrow and a week from tomorrow.
Indeed.
So you have to be tranquilo and just accept people will come when they come.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's have a vote. Do you want us to keep going a little longer?
We don't want to monopolize your Sunday. So please feel free to say goodbye and jump out, because we don't want to be. Yes, we have one person we'll talk to all afternoon. No, we're happy to go on, and we
Indeed. Was there anything on this?
Yes. Okay, fine. Well, we can talk about. We didn't talk about the rain and the blackouts.
We didn't
talk about that. Do you want to take that?
Well, I'm sure we'll both take it.
Okay. So,
after 26 years, we finish each other's sentences.
True. That's
so,
true. There was recently, within the last little bit, a drought. El Nino normally at this time produces more rain.
Yeah. Well,
on the coasts, I guess, but not in the sea area.
Right.
So a lot of Ecuador's electricity is hydroelectric. There is some thermal, but
most
a lot
of
it is hydroelectric. So there were droughts. The reservoir levels were going down. So they had some programmed blackouts. I thought it was pretty well organized. They came out with a schedule. You could look on the schedule and it would say, your power is going to be out for 2 hours between X and Y. and it was
as far
for
as
us.
for us.
For us, it was fine. A lot, like all the things in the house, a lot of it's gas. Like the stove is gas, the hot water is gas. So,
And if you were here for the tour, you see that we get a lot of natural light.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when there was no,
Yeah. Some of the blackouts were overnight for a couple hours, so you really didn't even know.
no.
Some people, if you were like a remote worker and you had to be online, people had like UPS backups, and they would just put their internet router on the UPS backup, and
Or-
their laptop was charged up, and they would just
Or you could go
They
to
would
a
just
cafe in the part of the city that didn't
Exactly.
have a
And then-
blackout at that current
right.
moment.
Or some people actually live in high-rise apartment buildings, and they have their own generators that supply power for the building in the case of a blackout.
Mhm.
So they just went merrily along and didn't have a blip at all.
Well, indeed.
So, and we should say that, actually, we didn't talk about that when we talked about apartments. We chose to live in El Centro, which is the historic district. We're old kind of New Yorkers, and we like noise and stuff like that. There's every kind of
hello.
Hi, Bastian.
Yay.
Every kind of accommodation. You can live in an old historic building. We do. I don't know if you noticed when we went around with the laptop to show you the apartment, but the walls are about 2.5 feet thick. We're in an adobe building, so it absorbs the sun during the day and keeps everything warm at night. Cuenca's temperature generally runs between, in Fahrenheit, mid 70s during the day and 50s at night. But there's no air conditioning here. There's no heating here
And that's
in our apartment, and we're completely comfortable.
And also, when there's no heating here, there's no air conditioning here in the city, in the country generally, in the Sierras.
In the Sierras where we are. If you're on the coast, it's hot and humid, and there's air conditioning.
Yeah.
You can also choose to live in a high-rise apartment building here, and you're going to have all the modern amenities. They're all over the city, different areas, things like that.
We actually lived at one. It didn't have a stove, so it was immediately.
It had a stove, but not an oven.
Right.
Yeah.
Cooktop, but no oven.
So we chose not to.
Plus,
to
it
rent
was
that.
out.
It was a little bit out. We wanted to be kind of in the middle of things. We like the noise. We like the commotion. We like to hear the traffic.
I mean, and here we go bouncing again. But that's one of the funny things. A lot of Cuencanos and a lot of expats would not want to live where we're living.
Right.
They're like, how can you stand all that noise? It's like, yeah, there's cars. Yes, there's some clubs. The clubs are generally done by 11 o'clock, midnight. But we lived in New York City.
So I sleep right through. I still go to I still get up at like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yes, he does.
I have not broken the I have to get up at 6 to go to work habit yet. But anyway.
But when we first got here and were living at Apartamentos de Durango, it was right by the Tomebamba. There was less traffic noise, but there was the constant swoosh
of the river,
which I found more annoying
than the taxis honking.
Yeah. But we like the vibrancy and the life force that is part of living where we live.
Noise is life.
And
it's people experiencing their lives.
I mean, I can walk out my front door and go to a coffee shop, a bread store, any restaurant, and choose between 12 of each of those.
Which to be fair, I mean, the other housing thing that you can do is rent a house. And in the quote unquote more suburban neighborhoods, there's still stores, and
there are, but not as plentiful.
It's not as dense as but I mean, but still, I mean, it's not like you could live in the suburban areas and still not have a car and
Correct.
be perfectly
Correct.
accommodated. Yeah.
I love not having a car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That was my one requirement for retirement, is that I always said that. I grew up in Florida with all the people, 90-year-old people sitting on phone books driving their cars down the road. And I always said, I'm retiring someplace where I can give up the car. And that's my hard and fast thing that I'm sticking to.
Oh, by the way, I think.
Can you shop Amazon since no postal?
Uh-oh.
Good question. Oh, yeah,
Indeed.
let's talk about that.
I didn't realize Bastian was in Chile, which is great.
Nice. Thank you for joining us.
Indeed.
And if you have any specific questions, we're just kind of babbling, and we've gone over time at request. So just throw the questions out there.
Strong supporter of Ukrainian poetry.
Good.
He's an amazing translator.
Excellent.
He's
excellent. So Amazon.
Yes. You can shop Amazon. You can't get everything that you can get in the US from Amazon, and we've not yet tried any of this, but
you can get just about everything from Amazon, but you may pay a lot for shipping.
Yes.
And if it has to go through customs, then
it could
it gets delayed, and there's
or rejected
customs fees and stuff like that. There's a rule, and I'm going to badly botch the
4x4.
The 4x4 rule. So it's something like 4 times a year you can order 4 items that weigh less than 4 kilograms or something like that. It's something like that.
It's 4.
Anyway, and then it's duty free. There's also services like Tienda and Servientrega, where you can order anything from any website, and they will ship it to this address in Miami, and then it gets shipped here through that. Generally, what happens when things get shipped here, the delivery services like FedEx, UPS, DHL, the Ecuadorian services like Servientrega will deliver to your house, or you can choose to have it sent to the FedEx office or the Servientrega office, and you can go pick it up, which is what I think a lot of people do. There's no postal service per se, like a post office.
No junk mail.
So no junk mail. Why it's like Kramer and Seinfeld. Why do you need the post office?
Indeed.
Everything's either online or bill pay or whatever. The delivery services will deliver to your door. You can pick them up from there, and you can order anything you want. If it fits the 4x4 rules, then it's pretty quick, week or two, I think. What I've heard. We haven't actually done it yet. From what we've heard,
Indeed.
That's about right. But then if you order large, heavy objects, then you're kind of
There's also the concept of muling, which is you have somebody who's coming to the country and they will bring things to you.
And you pay them, and that's generally by weight.
Yeah.
So more expensive items, or electronics, a lot of times people get moved.
And
I personally,
that can also get caught up at the border and in customs, and you could wind up paying them for something that you never get.
I mean, to be honest, for me, that option is a little sketchy because they are bringing it in and kind of skirting the rules of customs and that kind of thing. So I would be hesitant to do that personally.
I would too.
But it's not to say that people do it. People do it, and it's successful, and so But if your mule gets stopped by customs, then you're kind of you're out, whatever it was.
Indeed.
A lot of times. So.
By the way, going back in the thread a little, our Gooch and Mudge, Gooch and Muzzy are very chill cats.
Yeah,
Or-
they are. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're 14 and 11, I guess, by now.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're in there kind of sleeping on the bed, which is what
Mhm.
they do a lot. So,
Indeed.
yeah. So again, thank you for joining us. I think we'll go on until let's go on
Where
till
is it?
about 3:30.
All right. So another
another
10
10 or
minutes,
15
yeah.
minutes or so. So if you're in the broadcast but haven't joined us in the live chat, please come into the live chat and tell us who you are, or you can be anonymous, and that's fine too. You can come in anonymously and then ask whatever questions you want to ask.
And
because we're
please
happy.
give us a thumbs up.
Oh my gosh. Yes, please give us a like, share, or
Yeah.
subscribe.
Oh, yes. Certainly. Anyway.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you stopping, and we appreciate you all your good
Indeed.
questions. If you have any questions that you think of afterwards too, put them in the comments.
Yes.
This will go on to YouTube
Yeah,
afterwards.
I guess,
And be part of the
Indeed.
channel. So yeah, if you have any comments afterwards or questions, please jump in there and leave, and we'll monitor it and answer them.
Yeah.
No
Or
problem.
just write us.
Or just right. You know who we are. There may be people we don't know.
Well, that's true. I doubt it.
When's the best time to visit you? Next week. No.
Right now's
Yeah.
it's right now's our winter. Thank you, Equator.
Yeah. We're in the southern hemisphere, so it's winter time.
I don't
The
think
temperature range doesn't really change.
No.
Though, so it's not really. It's more a matter of dry versus wet.
Indeed.
rain.
And now technically we were just in the wet season, although it wasn't very
That's
wet.
wet. Yeah,
But
but I think it's more gray and overcast during
Yeah.
the winter time, and then it gets
See, I
more
don't
sunnier. I don't know.
anyway, I think
Anyway.
any time is a good time to
It
visit.
is. There's no real bad time to visit.
Yeah,
So, and for us personally, just reach out to us and we'll figure it out.
indeed.
Because we have not mentioned this, we're retired. So,
Although I will say that we've been very busy for being retired.
I know everyone said that when I was in my office.
Yes.
And everyone was saying goodbye to me. There's a lot of older people, all retired, and they said, "You will be amazed at how quickly your day fills up," and it is really true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, when did I have time to get all this done? Anyway, but
Indeed.
to be honest, it's a slower lifestyle. We do a lot of the things we used to do, and we just take more time to do them, and we're not in a rush. And the apartment is cleaner than the house was,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
and
honestly,
we're cooking nearly all of our meals.
I think the main difference in my life is I'm getting up earlier with more regularity with
10 a.m.
That's I do not. Oh, for the days when I would be able to sleep till 10.
He
But
gets
I-
up at like 8.
But I don't go to bed at 8, 9
Right,
o'clock.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
And I'm still adjusting because my poetry reading schedule has been messed up since this move and prepping for the move, and I'm trying to get that back into some more regular format. I'm still getting over because as you saw if you were here for the tour, the studio is right next to the bedroom, and it's a little. And he says
asleep.
He says it doesn't bother him. Plus, honestly, I don't know if it's age or just this more relaxed lifestyle, but I get tired earlier, and
And to be fair, we're at 8,300 feet, and we've been here a couple of months, and neither of us have had any adverse reactions. But
we are still acclimating.
We're still acclimating. But we're told if we ever go back to sea level, we'll be running marathons because your body is more, your red blood cells and whatever, are getting more efficient with the oxygen and whatnot.
Indeed.
So
mine, which are already usually low.
So to sum up the answer to your question, Shannon, reach out to us and we will figure it out, because we would love to have you. If we know you and you're in the chat,
Yes.
same thing. If we don't know you and you're in the chat or listening, maybe we'll have you at our house, and maybe we won't. If we don't know who you are, we might not have you at our house.
And you know what? If you don't want, let me preface this with, you're welcome to the house. But I'm one of those people who, when I go somewhere, don't like to stay in someone's house, because it puts a lot of pressure on me. I feel that it doesn't really, but so
if you don't want to stay at the house, there's plenty of hotels that are inexpensive.
Hotels, hostels, everything.
All kinds of accommodation ranges.
Yes.
So you can stay and we can meet you. You don't have to
Indeed.
stay. But if you do stay with us, and we're happy to have you, it's a cheap vacation.
Yeah.
It's going to be, your flight. If you can get a good deal on the flight, then, we're not going to charge you anything.
What?
And eating out is cheap and all those kinds of things.
Indeed.
We have. Shannon
Yes.
and I have a long travel history together.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. But nothing in South America. It's always in Europe. So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. And other, and around.
And honestly, we're looking forward to having guests, because there's a lot of stuff to do that we aren't doing.
It would make us, we've had,
that's not true. I mean, we've only been here 2 months,
right?
So it's not like, we've done everything.
And there's so much to do, but there's a lot of museums. There's a lot of, we've been focusing on kind of getting set up, and a lot of setup stuff and getting established, and then like the ferias and the festivals and the things like that. But we definitely want to get out and take more advantage of like the museums and the art. So much art,
and the mud baths.
So much music. Oh yeah, Baños. There's a larger city called Baños, which is near Quito, which has a lot of like adventure travel, like the zip lines and the things like that. There's a Baños near Cuenca, which has natural hot water, volcanic water,
hot water pools,
bathing pools.
Yes, and mud baths.
So there's that.
All this stuff
out there. Yeah. When I lived in Miami, I really enjoyed it when visitors came.
It forces you to do things that you don't normally do.
Exactly. So we would love to have visitors, and we can accommodate, whole families, as long as you don't mind waiting for the bathroom.
we should rent a porta potty.
We could get a porta potty. We do have a balcony. We can put it right out there.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So we're going to be wrapping this up in a couple of minutes. So if you have any
somebody else come in.
Last minute questions. Hi, someone just came in. We are going to wrap up soon, but jump into the live chat. Let us know who you are. And if you have any questions, just, let them fly.
Let them rip.
This will be posted after we finish, so you can get back and kind of look and see what we did. We talked about our cultural experiences. We talked about a lot of our new foods that we enjoyed. We talked about the rain and the blackouts. We talked about our apartment and kind of just living things in general. We talked about local businesses that we like and have taken advantage of. We talked about healthcare.
What a lovely recap you're doing.
I am. So when they get to the end, my gosh, I have to go back and look at this.
Well, there you go. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We talked about our healthcare experiences. We talked about pricing and gringos, pricing versus, not worrying about it versus making sure that you don't, take it, make things difficult for locals.
Right. Know when to negotiate and when you're being an asshole.
Yeah. Exactly. All right.
Let's see. So I think I've had fun doing this.
I have too.
So I think this might be somewhat of a regular thing.
Yeah. Give us a like on the way out.
Indeed.
It helps the algorithm, surface the video. So, and I think there's some information in here people might
Indeed.
want to know and listen to. So,
and I think I thank everybody for coming in. This is fun.
Yeah.
It's a little coffee clutch.
It was good. We had a lot of good questions. So thank you
Indeed.
for that. Thank you for stopping by. We love you
Love
too.
you too.
Oh, we love all of you. Thank you. Even the people in here we
Indeed.
don't know.
Hasta.
Hasta Bastian.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So, all right. So we're gonna end it. Thank you for coming in. Love you all.
Indeed.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for sharing time with us.
Exactly. All right, kids. From Ecuador.
From Ecuador.
Love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we hit. Yes.